never gave me an answer.
Hello everybody, welcome to today's live stream. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're not building exactly with Notion today. We're going to be building with a brand new tool called Intercom. And the whole purpose of today's build is actually to show you guys how you can build a resource or a knowledge base for anything that you're trying to share to the world. I think that this is going to be a very interesting stream for anybody who's looking to put themselves out online, that might be looking to say, hey, there's a lot of information that I'm trying to share, systems that I'm trying to implement for myself and also for other people. I want to share how I do certain things, and I want to know exactly how can I create a comprehensive knowledge hub that lets everybody be able to access that knowledge. I also think it'll be very interesting for people that are looking to learn more about our system today and want to come in and ask the right questions so that we can answer them together as a group and include them inside our FAQs. If you guys can hear me well, just let me know, scream in the chat, say, hey, we can hear you well, and we'll make sure to get on started. But definitely today is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be less of a build with me, but more of a let's explore this topic together and let's just figure out the best way to communicate information in a way that helps everybody understand the context, right? The fundamentals that are making up the conceptual information that makes, you know, our systems work, and also the technical information to figure out how to navigate the system as you might need to. This is something that's been highly requested, just in terms of you know, all our community members wanting us to have this resource ready for them, right? And we're going to go through the why, what, and hows to make sure that we are building with intention in mind, and then make sure that we're building something that is useful to everybody here watching the chat, watching the stream, as well as everybody at home that's going to be using it later as well. Well, thank you guys for tuning in, and let's get started. I'm going to switch to my presentation view, so let's go there. Perfect. And as usual, we like to start with the why, what, and hows whenever we start building any sorts of, you know, template or build. It's just very important for us to ensure that we know exactly, you know, why are we building it? What do we want to build it for? What's the outcome after it's all gonna be done? And then how are we going to build it? What are the tools we use? And as I mentioned already, we're going to be using some really interesting tools like Intercom. I'll explain what that is pretty soon. Okay, so why are we building this today? Well, it's because right now, you know, while the tutorials inside the build your own templates, build your own system are very good, they are definitely not comprehensive, right? There are definitely things that we can do to make sure that they are more comprehensive to help anybody get through the system, right? So far, you know, if you guys aren't familiar, if you go to the L control system, you'll be able to see that we have something called build your own system, and there's a lot of tutorials in there organized by different categories, where these are the easy mode things, these are intermediate mode things, advanced mode auxiliary systems. And that's great, and I think that's well put together because you can also add in your information while you're going through the tutorial. But I think that if you have any direct questions about anything, it's very hard for you to be able to Google anything or just find it by your own right. So how we're going to change that is, you know, what do we want to accomplish? Well, we want to give a way for our community to be able to Google for answers regarding our systems and philosophies, and then also be able to chat with get curated answers based on what you are looking for. So, you know, one thing that I noticed that I do myself, and this is kind of jumping into like how do we work as humans, right? When we're trying to find information as modern day humans in today's day and age, what is our process to try to find information? And it seems like we often go to Google first, right? If we ever have some kind of question, how to do X, right? Even if it has to do with some specific, software that we're using or some specific tool that we're using, we will always Google how to use X or how to use Y. And we are not able to do that for the systems we built here. And I want to make sure that we change that. And then also being able to get curated answers based on what you're looking for is very, very important as well, right? And I'm sure many of you guys had a chance to, have questions about our systems. And, obviously we have a very supportive community inside our, community space, and everyone's willing to help and answer questions. But what good is it if it's only going to be for that specific case, that specific answer, and then nobody else can benefit from that? We want to create an environment where collaboratively everyone can benefit from whatever information is being shared. So the how we're going to do it, and this is where I'm going to explain why we're using a tool like Intercom and what is that tool even, and should everyone learn about this. And I'd say unless you're a creator of like a certain system or creator of a knowledge base in the future, probably you don't need to learn exactly how to use Intercom. But I think the process of building in Intercom is very interesting and definitely something that I think we can all learn from, because as I go through the process of building here, I'll be also explaining my thought process and how I'm conveying certain types of information, especially when we're talking about how we're going to convey information relating to understanding mastery of anything, right? This is essentially giving like a quick masterclass on how can we share information to help someone get mastery of a certain domain. And in this case, the domain is about being intentional and making work really, really fun. So in this case, the how would be, Intercom to create a knowledge base that's highly searchable, interactive chatbots, and perhaps if we get to it, email flows. All right. So when I go through this, I'll also be going through this from the perspective of someone that's new to this tool. I'm not going to make any claims that I know this tool very, very well. I'm definitely exploring this tool, as a newcomer as well. And I hope that this stream will give you kind of like an insight of how do I, when presented with a brand new tool, find information on how to use that tool, right? How do I, even for Intercom, find out how to use Intercom? And then how do I quickly get good at it? How do I quickly get the competency required to do what I want to do, and solve the challenges that I need to solve, right? In this case, I'm trying to solve the challenge of ensuring that I can go out and present the best information to the world. So if you're all ready to go through this adventure with me, make sure you have some questions in mind if you have any on different inquiries you've had about our system, any doubts you've had, anything that you'd like to be clarified. This is the time to ask, because I will cover them during the stream. And also, if you have any thoughts during the stream as I go through and plan out the different ways of structuring these articles, these help articles, do let me know, because I think it'll be very, very cool. Okay. So let's get started and let's see what we're going to be doing today, right? So I already have Intercom open, and Intercom basically is a tool that allows you to go and set up things like a knowledge base. You can set up on a custom domain, meaning that I can do something like help.coex3.com and I'll be able to find it. I'm able to build stuff like product tours as well. This is really cool, right? If I have my own app, I can have things pop up and basically say like, hey, this is something that you step 1 is you do step 2, step 3, step 4, and so on and so forth. I'm also able to create chatbots that are going to be giving me like a guide in every single part of the journey, depending on which page it's on. So there's a lot of information that I can essentially create, right? So my first step is going to be doing something very interesting. And again, I think it could be intuitive once you think about it, but I'm just explaining my process to make sure that everybody can follow along. So if a company, like say the Intercom, is trying to sell me on the fact that they create really good knowledge hubs and knowledge bases, they should have a really awesome one themselves as well, right? makes sense. So I'm going to go to their website and I'm going to see how their knowledge base looks, because otherwise, if their knowledge base doesn't look anything like what I want it to look, then I already know that we're in the wrong place, right? We're definitely in the, we definitely need to look into some other tool. So I really want to know exactly how does their help center look and what topics do they try to cover, okay? So they have a comprehensive knowledge base, and it seems like what they do is they talk about what's first, like what is this tool, what can it do, right? So this is like their start place. They have a glossary in there, which is really cool actually. I think a glossary makes total sense in terms of, you know, we've talked about this in the community where we have like a commonly used words in the inside community, and what can you understand about the way that we use them. I think that's really, really cool. So I think that's something we can definitely learn. A demo is pretty good as well, you know, and just like the basic things that anybody needs when they first come in. So what is, you know, a cohesion or what is out control, these things would be very, very good. And for the most part, let's start planning them out inside this page, right? So let's start thinking about how we're going to plan this out. So if I go down, I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to say, okay, well, we have categories here, right? So let's talk about the information hierarchy. So the information hierarchy is just something that I like to think about in terms of how am I going to build out the information that's needed in order to, you know, fulfill what I need, right? So information hierarchy at the top level, we're going to have a what is blank. I haven't thought about if it's what is L control, what is be intentional, what is systems. Maybe it's just everything in general. But I think for our use case, I'd say what is, we'd also say, so within here, we'd have a glossary of terms. We have what is be intentional. I think we're going to spread out the different topics that we have. And then we're also going to say that this is the topic for the specific usage of a template in general for our entire thing. So, okay, now let me explain. So if we go to our toolbox page, right? So toolbox.codex3.com, basically you'll be able to see that we have a bunch of templates that are designed to help you level up your life, right? Then the base of the template always looks the same because we have innovated on the idea that there is the build your own system, which is going to give you the tutorials on how to get through the system. And then there's the back end that's going to give you the information on where to find all the extra views and all the extra, you know, resources you might need to ensure that you are finding excellence with your product. So that's going to be a theme that everybody is going to start learning on how to use. And therefore, that's something that's globally relevant for anybody using any of these templates. But for each of these templates, there's going to be differences in the conceptual understanding of each thing and also of the, you know, utility of each thing, right? How you're going to use it in a technical way. How do we use Notion's advanced features for ourselves? And how do we use it in a way that makes it, you know, very easy for us to do what we want to do? Again, we have a lot of interesting hacks that we do inside Notion, right? So how do we come up with all those things and put them down into this knowledge base so that it's relevant and meaningful for the times when you need it? Okay, so I think that we would have something here, and I'm just going to spitball here for a bit, but I believe that I should have a what is being intentional. I believe we should have a few top level items, which is going to refer to the different systems that we have. What is, you know, gamify your life, and we can rename these better later on. I think that's fine. But the intention is we have all these items to start, so we can start planning out and seeing how everything's gonna work together, right? So what is what's the last one? What is Creators Toolkit? Okay, and then we're also going to start building the structure too of like all these different what is blanks, because I think that they're all gonna be somewhat similar in the way that should present itself, right? For what is blank. We would probably have something to do with introduction to the conceptual material. And if I go to their help center again, let's see what they're doing. They also have like a setting up your workspace, which is really cool. I think that we should have that. So setting up your workspace. So setting up your workspace. So this is something global that we talked about just now. And for this, we're just going to make this into a different color so we know that this isn't part of the conversation just yet. So what is why the toolbox maybe? What is the Coistry toolbox? So this is somewhere we can find something like the glossary of terms. We can also see a demo perhaps. I think the first one is what is. Okay, so the first one is like, again, just to repeat, what is the Coistry toolbox? Or maybe why? Why did we build the Coistry toolbox? We might have information here that also, I'm gonna try to keep it to 3 for each section. So let's say that we're going to say, let's see, what is a, okay, I think we also should have like a overview of our packages. And then we probably have a place, we probably would also say, yeah, I think those 3 would start as a beginning. Setting up your workspace, let's see what they do there. So, and by the way, remember to drink water, guys. Don't forget to drink water. Very, very important. Let's see. Water right here. Okay, so we have a setting up your workspace page. I like what they did there. They have a day 1. I think this is really cool. So we should do that as well. Let's do a day 1 with your new system. And this is the highlight one. So I'm going to make sure that this is highlighted. This is highlighted in gray. And then, so this is your checklist, right? And then installing, setting up your workspace. Okay, so this is where we can have a lot of information on just how Notion works in general, right? Duplicating your theme, or duplicating your system, using the build your own system, navigating to the backend, okay? Creating new views, or manipulating and utilizing views in Notion, duplicating your Notion templates, and then let's see what else we can add here. Excuse me. No, I think that's pretty good. I think we could even add like a common questions getting support kind of section. And this is just basically like how to get started, right? So getting support, for your questions. So basically curating like a very concise and precise space that's going to help anybody who's trying to get into the system to learn more about it, right? And again, reduce the burden on anybody in the community that's wanting to help and wanting support. In this way, the work that we do can be very scalable here, and I think that's very, very important. So what is being intentional? Okay, so this is where we're going to start talking about the structure, right? So introduction to the conceptual material is going to be the first thing for sure, and then we're going to be building into a process of, you know, unique, maybe like the who is it's for, right? Who will benefit the most from this system. I think the introduction will include that. So if you guys remember, we already have like a early version of the handbook that we tried to create that is, you know, relevant in this case because it's a reflection of how, you know, this can work, right? So if we go into our handbook right now, again, it's not the prettiest just because we built it completely in Notion. That's why we're considering using this tool Intercom to do what we want to do. But in this case, we are able to just learn from the way that we've done it. And if I check, for example, the new item template that we have, we can kind of see like exactly, who should use this, benefits, how does it work, use cases, customization. Like these are really good topics that we can use to build more and more. So in this case, I'd say we probably want to say like benefits, right? To using this system. Who is it for? Benefits. I'd also probably put something like, a short story of its conception, okay, which probably is going to go first. Story of its conception, then who do we think it's for, and then the benefit someone's going to get from it. Again, we're going to try to keep it to 3 points. 3 points is very important. And then we're going to go into this and discuss, well, after we have the introduction to the conceptual material, then what we're going to talk about, well, different use cases, right? And then different, we also want to talk about different customization options that people might like to do that would help them improve the system overall. Oh, another thing here is setting up a workspace is also going to include how to upgrade your system. So like you can already see like a lot of the questions I think many of you guys may already have regarding our systems are going to be answered here very simply, and I'm really excited about having the opportunity for you guys, right? So let's start with just 3 very basic things for being intentional, and then we'll go from there. So I think also we can figure out how to include each of these components. So in the case where use cases / components, right, this is going to be something that I think is the big part of it. Anyway, so let's talk about being what is being intentional will be the first thing. Again, it's just repeating the title. Then we're going to talk about your success plan, right? I'd say determining your purpose. Then we'd say with areas of competence, and then planning for success with the success plan. And then we're going to have building consistency with daily quests. Again, like the very cool thing is that by doing this, we're also building up searchability of what are our resources. So saying that in the future, if I ever search daily quests inside the chatbot or inside Google, we hope that we will find this this library, this resource, so that you can find the information you need faster. Okay, so let's just keep going. For example, and I'm not going to do every single thing here, obviously, because for the sake of time, I just want to start getting into it. But you can already see like how things are going to work, right? So what is gamify your life? So what is gamify your life? So that's a conceptual information behind that. And then we're going to be talking about stuff like, creating a leaderboard, building introducing multiplayer for personal growth and development with the leaderboard, right? And I can discuss a lot about that as I start drafting out this content together with you all. And then we can also talk about incentivizing yourself with a loot box, with an item shop, or do the things, or reward yourself for achieving hard tasks with an item shop. Be motivated to consistently reflect with a loot box. You can like really understand the different components that really make the system work here. And again, I just think it's really beautiful. First, in the aspect of knowing that all this stuff has been already built in some way, and now finally putting it together in a meaningful way to share with you all, right? So also, I think I have a lot of good wordings inside the build your own system, so I'm gonna see if there's anything good here that I can find. So don't quest alone with party members. I think that's a great wording there. So don't quest alone with party members. We also have things like, be able to theme your workspace. Oh, that's a big one. You know, bring your pets, creating your own badges, a lot of stuff, which is really cool here. So let's just add one more. Create your own badges for yeah, for real or in real life, something like that. Okay, and then for the other ones, I'm not going to build them just yet, just because I think that we kind of get the process, and what we really want to do is start building it already. So let's figure out how to build, right? Again, my first time in this tool, so I am just going to show you guys my process and how I start learning things. So I'm going to scour. Looks like I want to use new article here. There's also seems to be an import feature in the future when I might want to use it. So first thing I want to know is, how can I build this this structure where we have, you know, all collections, and then we narrow down to one specific section, right? What is this? How does this process look like, and how does this process work? So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to say, okay, if I make a help center collections, I'm able to see that this is something that I can turn on. Okay, I need to turn it on in settings. Let's go. So I'm going to set up the basics. Let's see. I'm going to, the URL works fine for now. I'm going to, I'll just work it on later, because we're going to redirect it to our own base anyways. For now, we're going to call this the Coix3 knowledge base. For now, we're going to use that. We're going to save changes. And also really cool, we can do multiple languages, which is going to be very, very helpful, I think. For this, let's just quickly change some icons and everything. Again, I just want to see how that kind of works. I'm really curious on like that whole process. So I think it is very important and interesting to just kind of have the end in mind, right, when you're building anything, and just see how that all plays out. So I'm going to check on my logos here. I believe I have a place for this. I'm just checking into my system areas, and I'm going to see sharing, media kit, logos, new logo, and then let's use this one. Okay, let's use this one. Okay, so that's the logo we're going to try, and then we're also going to start just seeing how the colors can fit our themes and all that. I think for now we're just going to use any color. I'm just curious to see how it all works. We might even make this darker, so then we might make changes to the white version of our logo, which is fine. And again, it's just like minor tweaks and improvements just to see how it all fits in. We don't have a exact white version just yet, so again, for now we might just keep this version. It's fine actually. But for here, we're just going to make this blue again, and then we're going to see how we're going to start. Again, turn on help center is the top right, turn it on. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to go inside this collection setting, and then we're going to be adding different collections. Okay, so the first collection, as we discussed, and again I'm going to be flipping back and forth here, is what is the Coix3 toolbox. So let's name that. Let's say we're going to edit this. Let's say, what is the Coix3 toolbox? And again, I'm just going to copy some wordings from this side, and we'll see how we can just figure out, you know, what works here, right? So I'm going to say here for the first time, see how our toolbox can help you level up every single day, help you take action on your learning and level up daily. Okay, so we have inside here, we're going to add some articles. Again, just flipping back, which one do we want? Why did we build this? Overview of our packages. Okay, so let's create a new article. Oh, how can I add articles? Okay, I need to go here first. Interesting. And then I'm going to make a new article here. So new article. So I'm going to say, why did we build the Coix3 toolbox? And then I'm just going to, again, find the information here. Let's see how the toolbox works. What can it do for your personal growth and development, your personal growth, your growth and development, and what makes it different to other solutions, right? So really cool stuff. And this is, again, maybe I'll spend like a minute on this because I think this is important for us to just understand how this would kind of go. So my process is always like, you know, and I think actually a lot of information I can build from here, right? Let's take this section because I think this section was very well written. And I'm just going to also, so I'm gonna take this and then I'm going to see how I can improve this. Okay, so it's time to take action on your learning. That's the first like really big message I want to share. Knowledge today is ubiquitous, but there's not enough education on how to make the things you learn useful in your life. You can Google anything, but most results will focus on what. We want to provide you with the why and how. Why in the form of first principles, the fundamental building blocks of knowledge, and how to make that learning actionable in your life through systems. Systems transform understanding of fundamental principles into actionable steps. Okay, so here is where I'm going to add some more information simply because this is more of an article and that was more of like a preview, a brief. So I want to explain like, for example, here, for each of our systems, for each of our okay, here. For each of our systems, we have baked in thousands of hours of relevant expertise from great names out there, from great thinkers and doers out there, from, you know, Richard Feynman to Albert we can say Albert Einstein, but also to philosophers like Marcus Aurelius. Okay, I need to spell that properly. Marcus Aurelius. I'm not spelling it right. We'll find out. That's how you spell his name. Marcus Aurelius. And then to ensure that all the knowledge that they are distilling are baked into our systems. Our hypothesis is that many of us go through life wanting to learn more, but the best way to retain knowledge is through learning through experiential learning, meaning that we are putting to action what we have learned. It's not always easy to put an action plan right after learning all these different ways of organizing information and, you know, putting your life into organization and different mental models. And thus we have innovated on how we can deliver a meaningful experience for our community to be able to I guess what's the word here, to be able to build to be able to take action on your learning. For now, we'll do something like that, and I'll reword this later. But I just wanted to kind of show like this is the process, right? So for each, and then one more thing here. Excuse me. For each of our systems, you will find detailed information on all of the conceptual ideas behind them, so that you can understand from the ground up the intention and philosophy behind our systems. and also get all the technical knowledge and training you need to be sufficiently to have mastery over the system, over the technical parts of the system. Okay, something like that. Again, I'm just trying to explain a lot about why, because I think if you know the why, it becomes really easy for you to understand it and then also appreciate it, right? So here is, I'm going to start seeing how this works. So I'm going to add an article here. Why did we build a code history toolbox? We can add one here. And then I think we can already start seeing how it's going to look. So let's quickly see that. Let's see how it looks so we can already know what we're doing right or wrong. Okay, so we have this knowledge base here. Very cool. We have a lot that we can edit here. Mentioned the footer we can edit. We can edit the logo. I already mentioned I want to make a white logo for this use case. I might change the way that this is, say it's not help and advice, right? Help and answers. It's something different. Anyway, I'm just going to see how this looks. So what is the code through toolbox? How do we build it? Okay, we might make this more one line so it doesn't have to truncate. I think this is really good. But I'm already seeing that it looks really, really sick. We might want to put more imagery in here. I think images is going to make it look really nice. So I'm going to make a note for myself is don't forget imagery. So maybe some structural things to do would be add imagery to each page. I'm also going to consider adding a footer, right? Changing our logo to white, using our brand colors for the colors, changing the font with CSS. Like there's a lot of things that we could do that are going to make this more and more like what we have on our website, which we're also working on currently. Okay. So by the way, if I ever get to a stage where you have questions about what I'm doing, just let me know. Yeah, I'm very happy to answer your questions, because the whole point of this is I want to ensure that the most critical questions are being answered first, meaning that if someone has a question about a specific part of our system, they know how they can navigate to it. And I'm also going to show you how the chatbot might work. Again, I'll be building a part of that as well. I'll be trying to like kind of segment the ways that I'm working today, just to show you guys a lot about how I work through the process of creating things like this. Cool. So overview of packages, or overview of our packages is right here. So let's create a new article. So overview of our packages. And again, for this one, I'm not going to go too in detail, but I'm just going to explain like each thing that we have, right? So let's say, let's see, how can we help? Okay, and then we're going to just put them all in. Let's just say so be intentional. Oh, you know what, I'm going to again, I think the beauty of being able to have a lot of content out there already, I can already start taking a lot of content from this and just consolidating it. I think you know, a lot of this is just consolidation. So let's just see. So be intentional. Let's just L control. So let's talk about L control. And this is where we can already answer a lot of questions that I think a lot of people had. So let's say the system that does this, that does this, that does this, and at the end, so that's L control. L control packages both. I think this is where we want to add this detail here. So we updated this FAQ before, but okay, let's put this in this way. Let's say packages both be intentional and gamify your life. Packages and integrates seamlessly, so you can have the best of both systems and additional and exclusive dashboards, which enhance your experience. which enhances your experience. So maybe we make that into like a little blurb there. So then those are the main questions that people have about this specific template, right? We can also start adding imagery just to show like how that might work, because I haven't seen how this works yet. So I might insert an image. Let's see how that works. I'm going to insert an image and I'm going to just double check how this looks. Let's see images. Let's see where it is. I think it's under creatives, projects. I'm just looking into my own system here. Toolbox maybe. Okay, I did find it. Nice. So let's say this is going to be L control. Okay, so we're gonna do it like that. I also see that I can add a button. That's really cool. So let's say if I add a button, what can I achieve with that? Okay, so I'm going to also just make sure I have some space below to type things. So that's that, and then I'm going to add a button. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so the button text would be check it out or something like that, or learn more, right? So that's really cool. And then I'm just going to do one more just to show the example. Again, a lot of this building is out to offline, I think, but I just wanted to show you like there's a lot of interesting things that you can start playing around with. And again, I'm just as new to the tool as you guys are, but it's very important for you to just observe like all the different things that you could be doing with such tools like this. So let's talk about be intentional. I'm going to use this. I'm going to go back to new article. I'm going to insert the image for our be intentional. So let's talk about the be intentional part. And then I'm going to put here, again, I'm going to do like this, go like this. And then we're able to then break it up. L control, be intentional right here. So be intentional. And then we're going to make this a header 1. Okay. This probably should be centered. I don't know how to do that, but we'll figure that out. I wonder if I can just highlight that and center it. Okay, it doesn't work like that. We'll figure it out in our time. But basically here we have be intentional. And then here we can also have another button. And if there's ever a situation where, someone has a very good question here that I can answer, then we can put it in here as well. But anyway, I think that this is just serving as a place for us to kind of summarize all the information we have, and for me to show that I'm going to do ... so I know that there's more to add here, and I'm going to save and close. Okay. I'm also seeing something like, so I need to add a URL. That's fine. So I'm going to just add this URL, go back to new article, add a link. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to add a link for here. Perfect. So I'm going to save and close, and then we're already going to see how this works. I'm going to edit this. I want to make this published just so that it's already out there and I can see how it works. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to add another article. Here's overview of our packages. Okay. I'm going to put this in the second position. Got it. And then the last thing I wanted to fit in here was glossary of terms. And this one I'm definitely going to just learn from how they did it, because I think that their glossary of terms probably is much cleaner. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to again add a new article, and I'm going to say the COEX3 glossary. Okay, the COEX3 glossary here would be and then we'll see here, these are the words you commonly see when you inside COEX3. So things like, growth mindset, truth mindsets, I'm just gonna bring them. If you guys have any like interesting if you guys have any thoughts on like what other things we say often in the community, let me know. I mean, I think that would be really cool. So A to C, and then how are they doing it? I'm just gonna learn from this. A to C, D to F, G to I, J to L, M to O. I don't think that's really necessary for us actually, unless we have like a snap to section, which I don't think we do anyway. So yeah, so that doesn't matter. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna brain dump all the things that I use often. Scrum, Agile, philosophies, like-minded, We can talk about things like flow states. We can also talk about gamification. Yeah, what else? I think there's a bunch of stuff we can do. Okay, so I'm also figuring out how to structure it. So I think what we can do is something like this. And we're going to make these headers probably. Yeah, each one is a header too. There we go. Agile, like-minded, flow states. Productivity, I think is obvious. Productivity is pretty obvious. And then we also might want to talk about, yeah, I'm just gonna spitball some more things. Gilded. We've talked about gilded. What are we talking about, right? Toolbox, library, like our different resources that we use. These are all really good stuff that is going to eventually play a huge role in the understanding of how our system works. And again, if someone's able to ask a question on this, I think that's the really cool thing, is that they can figure out where it is from. So actually, let's do that. Let's add that. I think that would be pretty cool. That would be a good like understanding of why we're doing all these things. Okay, so let's go and where am I? Okay, let's add this to a collection, and then let's now just we'll double check how this all works in terms of like how people can search on us, how people can find more information. All these kind of things really important. So let's save and close, and then now let's go back to the help center. Let's go to again this, and then let's add an article, and then let's add the Quick3 glossary, and then we're gonna add this article. And then now what I want to see is if I go back to the help center, right, and I just kind of see how this plays out, I have a search bar, right? I can search, let's say I want to search for growth mindset. I want to find everything that's going to help me become a growth mindset. And then immediately I'm able to find everything like, you know, why do we build it? Oh, it's for my growth and development. And I can find in the Quick3 glossary information about growth mindsets in general. I think that's pretty cool. I think already that's a huge step up from what you could do before, right? And now if I open up this chatbot, let's figure this out. So if I find your answer now, if I do the search, we'll do the same thing. Let's say I want maybe productivity, okay? Let's see where I talk about productivity. Oh, interesting. So we'll find it inside the glossary, and we'll find why did we build the Quick3 toolbox, and everywhere else that we talk about productivity, it should show up. That's actually really, really cool. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's also do one interesting thing that I would consider being very, very important. Let's say that I want to have a specific flow here, and this is where I'm just trying to understand like how this tool works, because I have heard that Intercom is able to do this, where in the sense that for every single page that I am on, every single specific page I'm on, it could make it so that it asks you a very direct question and prompts you to do something specific. So let me explain what that means. So if I make a custom bot, maybe, let's just see, what's this? What is this? Ask for contact details, share your typical reply. I think these are fine. Okay, send relevant help desk. Okay, let's see how this works. So if I turn that on, right? And then I'm going for, okay, I like that too. Okay, I don't need to qualify. Okay, so let's just see. So for example, it seems like, so I'm going to refresh just to make sure it all fits in. But it seems like if I go here and I ask a question, let's say if I ask a question, send us a question. Hi, I'm looking for a resource to improve my productivity. Let's see what happens, okay? Okay, that's fine. Let's say I don't do that. But it should show me something like, okay, so it says route to, okay, typical reply, that's fine. Ask for contact details, that's fine. and then suggest relevant help details. Let's see. So I think here, let's just put like testing at our test at coextree.com. It's just a test. I'm just trying to see how this works. Okay, so it's not showing me this answer, but I think that should happen. So let's figure out how that works too, okay? So suggest relevant help articles. So let's say I had something like, what if I ask a direct question is, what is coextree? Okay, what is coextree? Let's see if that shows up as a help item. I'm really curious. So I'm going to show here is, you know, what is the coextree toolbox? Let's see if that answers me. That's very interesting. So I have a question here. It's not giving me the right answer, or it's not giving me any answer, and I'm trying to figure out why. So in the meantime, I'm looking for this. In the meantime, these articles might help, right? I'm looking for that. So let's figure out how this works. Maybe if I need to refresh this again and then make a new page. I'm really curious how this works. Let's send a new message. Let's say, what is included in the packages, right? Okay, we'll figure out how that one works. I think that it's just because there's not enough here to answer the question. Let's just try one more. This is, okay, no, this is not giving me anything good. Let's just try one more thing, which is, how does the toolbox work? Interesting. Okay, I think we just need more information here in general. I think if we have more information here, it'll be better. Let's see what other bots that we can build. I think that's really cool. Let's see. We can probably build a new bot that's going to be for a specific page. So let's say we go into a specific page and then we say that there is a, let's say there's an outbound. Let's say, so I'm gonna create a new bot, and let's say, there's already templates here. That's pretty cool, actually. So let's say, I think it's the welcome aboard thing. I think this is the welcome aboard. Okay, I'm gonna use this welcome aboard, and I'm just gonna see how this one works quickly. I'm gonna use this template. And let's see. Oh, that's really cool. You can also add a video in there. Wow, interesting stuff. Okay, we're helping to get you started. So I'm going to just check out these different things. Be more intentional. Let's say gamify my life. I find more motivation. So this is where I can be specific about the benefits that you might get from each of the different systems, right? So either you come in because you want to find more, find meaning in the things I do, be more motivated to do the things I want, and then also, for example, grow wealth. Learn how to save and invest better, and then maybe we can say create content to share with the world. Okay, just as an example, right? These are things that are going to be things that I want to improve. I think I'm going to set it so that it's visitors, and then I'm going to add an audience rule that I'm going to say that only for one specific page I want to show this. So let's see how that works. So visitors will see this, right? Start sending immediately. I want to figure out where I can put this on a page. So run a new test. Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want to see where I can throw this, if I can throw this onto a specific page. So let's figure out how to do this. Again, I'm just showing you guys how I would go through a process. And again, similar to how I'm saying that how I would think people go through the system is they Google, right? Intercom, make a bot conversation on a specific web page. So I would say that there is I'll Google it. It'll say targeted messages. Okay. So I'm going to make a chat. It's going to go and there's an engaging message. That's fine. Okay, it's not giving me anything useful here. Okay, it's fine, which is good. So let's figure out how to set live. If I set live is okay, so I need to set the rules now. Okay, I got it. So I'm just gonna go into here. I think it's the rules into here, and we're gonna add a filter. Oh, when to send this. Okay, there we go. Add a URL rule. There we go. And then let's just say, again, I'm just trying this out. It'll be fun, right? But let's say I'm going into the overview of my packages. So if it matches this URL, okay, and I'm going to see how detailed we can get here. If it matches this URL contains packages, let's just say if it contains packages, right? And it's a visitor, then it should show that. Okay, set live. So if I then go into here and I can say that I'm going to test this out, I'm going to refresh this. Let's see how this prompts me. I'm very curious. Let's see. So this is going to show this. I just set this live. Let's see. I'm going to edit this and I'm going to double check. So the rules is going to start showing. It's going to start sending immediately. The goal, I think this is we'll change the goal later. I think the goal is probably more like conversions probably. But anyway, let's just see if current page URL contains packages, who will receive this. Oh, I'm a lead now, so I'm not just a visitor, I'm also a lead, right? So I'm also a lead right here. So I'm going to save this and then we're going to try this again. And then I'm going to again refresh this and let's see what happens. There we go. So that's very cool. You can see that. So hey there, welcome aboard. We'd like to help you get started. What are you looking to do first? I think that's really, really cool. You're not seeing this right now. I'm going to hide my face for a second because I think it's really cool. I'm going to show you that how it works. But okay, so I hid my face. You can see then it shows that little pop-up in the bottom right asking me what I want to do first. And I think that's really, really cool. That will really help help our members understand everything. All right, cool. Drink water, guys. Remember, thank you, Anne, for reminding. Okay, so knowing that that's how that works and being really happy about that because it does work, let's spend the next 15 minutes just continuing to build some of the other sections in the system. Again, I think that this is already like really shaping up really nicely. I just want to create one more section to really show like how this all works. And then we'll be able to really see how everyone can come in and help too, because the whole idea of this is I want to make this as collaborative as possible because we all have a lot of different information on how we use the system, right? And what we enjoy about it and, you know, just different ways that we want to learn things. So I'm really eager and excited to ensure that all the information here is as helpful as possible. Setting up your workspace. As helpful as possible, right? I want to make sure that everything we do here is useful. So let's go back to the help center and let's see how this all works. And actually it's very interesting. I might add that as part of the logo, right? Boom, help center makes it really cool. Anyway, everything you need to know to install and get started. So in this case, we're not going to use the same words, but everything you need to. So something really interesting that again, if you're a creator, this could be very helpful for you in the future if you ever want to work on something like this. But basically there are a lot of tricks that you can do that can help build SEO and help you get to, you know, the customers that you do want to get to, right? And this is more like on a business level. Again, for us, I'm just teaching these concepts that I think is interesting. Not necessarily I'm going to follow them completely for us anyways as well, because we're more of a community anyways. But in this case, I want to share that, like, for example, if we instead of making this into a specific thing about our Notion templates, we can just say duplicating Notion templates in general. And if we write it well enough, it could be the case where if anybody wants to figure out how to duplicate Notion templates, any Notion templates, they'll stumble onto our page as well, which is very, very important for SEO. Okay, so I'm just going to start building all these. So day one with your new system, the checklist. I'm going to save this. And then I'm going to create another article. And here is, I'm just going to start spamming new articles. So how to duplicate a Notion template. So this is not just going to be about our Notion templates, but any Notion templates, how you're going to duplicate a Notion template. I'm also going to add another one here. We're just going to be using the build your own system. Name the most modular system from Notion. So I'm just creating notes in here of what I might want to talk about in each section if I remember. So I'm going to add another one. We're going to say navigating to the back end. I think that's really cool. Save and close. I'm going to add another help desk article. Creating and utilizing views in Notion. So this is like a general help desk, I think, a general guideline. So again, that's really cool. And then how to upgrade your system. How to upgrade your system. I think that's another really good one. And then getting support for your questions. Okay, so why am I spamming all these? Why am I building all these so quickly? Well, it's because I want to really just see like what's the different sections that we might want inside this collection, because in here there's also different sections that Intercom had done for their own resources, right? So I'm going to see, for example, here, setting up your workspace, I'm going to add all these different things. So getting support, how to upgrade, creating, navigating, all these different support items. I think this is very important. And yes, and you're absolutely right. In general, Google is going to be able to search inside our inside here, right? And make it really easy for people to find what they need to find. So I think that's really cool. So using the build your own system, navigating to the backend, getting support, how to upgrade, creating user views. I think these are all general support. So you can add a section that says the checklist, getting started. It's going to be here. Again, I'm going to put day one is getting started. I'm going to add another section that's going to talk about general Notion help, how to duplicate a Notion template, creating, utilizing views, using the build your own system, creating user views. Another section I'm going to say the tutorial section, step by step. Let's say using the build your own system. We can say navigating to the back end, and then we can also have additional resources, how to upgrade the system, and then getting support for your questions. And I think for this one, I don't think I need a section here. I'm gonna try. I wonder. There we go. So what's going to happen here, I'm going to delete the section, and then I'm going to now just see how it looks on the main page. So basically, if I go here, oh, nothing here is published. Let's see, setting up your workspace. I'm going to publish all. How can I publish all? Let's go to here, and then I'm going to just try to publish everything. Oh, I need to go into each one and then edit. Wow. Okay, that's fine. Publish. I'm going to go back to articles. I'm going to go into, I'm going to figure all the draft ones. I'm going to edit this and I'm going to make this published. And then I'm going to go back to here. Again, go back to draft. So here's a lesson for you guys. If you guys think that it's going to be published already before, you can probably just click publish before you get in here so that we don't have to do this now step by step. Again, we're all about finding how to optimize the things that we do. How do we make it more like productive and more efficient? So in this case, I'm just showing you guys how this kind of works. I think this is a really cool tool. It's obviously really fast. I've been able to do a lot of things already that if I were to build a custom website, it would have taken a lot more time. So I do appreciate that I have this opportunity to show you guys exactly how I go through a new tool, how I would essentially think about organizing like my information and content that I'm learning about. And then in this case, how do I deliver it to a willing audience? So they're all pushed out now. So let's see how this kind of looks. I'm going to refresh this. So let's see. And it might take a second because it's all updating. Let's see. So I'm going to go to the help center. Perfect. Setting up your workspace. And we can also add like a lot of emojis and everything, which obviously I will do. But very cool. So you can see like day one of your new system, general Notion help, step-by-step, additional resources. This makes it really, really cool. And asking about is there a dark mode? And I think here is where we can start considering like how can we build things that are like, you know, different CSS, so different customization on the look and feel. So let's spend a minute on that. I think actually let's spend the rest of the stream on that. We only have 5 more minutes. I'd like to wrap it up in 5. So let's see how this works. Okay. So we can go to here. We can see our operator, perhaps. No, articles. Where is this? Let's see, where is this? Settings, maybe? There we go. So we can style. So what does style do? What can we do? I think we can only do so much. I don't think we can do more than this. Let me just double check. Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. So there's a whole like login section too that I can do. Okay, I'll think about that. That could be useful for something in the future. But anyway, let's figure out how to do this. So basically, I'm thinking about how to change my color into something that's more friendly for our theme. Obviously, we have a lot of colors that make sense for us. For example, we can use something like this, but later on I will definitely just figure out the exact hex code for ourselves. We have that somewhere in another page. And for here, I also want to show that we can add different emojis for each collection, right? So let's do that. So what is the Coistry toolbox? So maybe here we'll add something like a toolbox. Oh, interesting. We can't even add custom ones here too. Okay, so there's some restrictions here, which is I'm getting to see, which is fine. They're making it easier by simplifying the steps. But definitely, I think there's something for us to consider when it becomes, you know, how can we learn more about each one of these things? Okay, what is the toolbox? So basically, we can have the package maybe, and then we can go to the collections. And then we can go into here and then we'll set up your workspace. So this is definitely going to be, I think, the gears. I'm going to delete this example collection because we don't need this. We were able to pick it up pretty easily. So I like that. And then we're inside here, we're going to delete the example draft and example article because we don't need them anymore. Example article, we're going to delete this. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the main page and kind of see how this looks. So very bright. I think we might want to darken it somewhat, but in any case, we can see how we can find this information very easily. And if I do search for anything, let's say I do search for something, I say, you know, for example, how to duplicate a template. Let's just search that and see if that shows up. How can I duplicate a template? I think this is where I want to figure out that last step that we were trying to figure out, the task bots. So for users, here we go. Okay, for users, we want to say that we want to suggest relevant help articles for sure. For leads, we also want to do that as well. Okay, let's take off contact details. Okay, we can read that later. That's fine. But yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not sure why this is not answering that question, because this should automatically show them that question. Okay, let's go inside our bot, and then let's see, or our conversation bot, and let's see if there's any settings for that. So what's the automation? Okay, that's not what we want. Let's see. Chats, posts, emails, custom bots, product tours, banners. Okay, I don't know. We'll figure this out. Let's see. Accounts, conversations, operator, settings. Okay, let's see. Let the bot introduce itself. Okay, interesting. We don't have that functionality. Okay, so there's relevant suggestions that we can give here too. Interesting. There's predictive answers, basically. That's really cool, actually. Okay, so we can do visitors and leads. We can turn that on so that when they have any questions, it's going to answer a specific answer. So what we want to do is add suggested answers into a place. Okay, so I think I know what's happening. Is that here we don't have the common answers yet. So that's why it's not showing up. Okay, so we need to upgrade if we want to do that, which I don't think we want to. Yeah. Okay. That's really cool. Can I make the script bigger? I think, and we're not able to do that. I'm not sure how, but definitely I will figure out more and more as we go. But let's summarize a bit about what we got accomplished today, because I think it's actually very meaningful to understand the whole process. Basically today, what we did was we learned together how we can go through a new tool, Intercom, and figure out how everything works. It's all about making sure that you have a very broad scope and see like, hey, I've seen how they themselves use a tool and perhaps how other companies in the space or other people in the space use a similar tool. And then you can then figure out how can we use that tool for ourselves as well. There's not much meaning in reinventing the wheel. There's a lot of meaning in finding out what works for other people and then adopting it so that it works for you yourself as well. Then we figured out how to really structure the depth of our content in a way that's meaningful and makes sense. And we talked about the different structures and hierarchies behind information. For example, we talk about what we do, why we do. We talk about setting up this workspace. We also will talk about in the future and things I will add on my own as well in terms of the different packages that we offer and the different benefits they're going to offer for different types of people, as well as some relevant short stories on how we find it very useful for ourselves. Again, the end of the day, the whole intention is we want to make it easy for people to be able to search for the resources that they need to be successful with our systems. And also we want to give everybody a meaningful way to find everything they need to find, whether they Google it, whether they go through our chatbot, or just if they want to find information and they're asking the community and nobody has the answer, well, we can come into here and see if there's someone that has helped us out before. Anyway, this is a brand new stream. If you liked it, do let me know. We usually will do Notion content, but in this case, this is something that I've been building and I've been looking to build for a while now. So I'm really excited and happy to have the chance to do it with everybody here today. Thank you so much for staying engaged and thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you all.